Hello, folks. This is Steve AB for you. Just looking out the window. Did you know it's almost summer? It's 86 out there. I got the window open. You'll probably hear the traffic. You guys go out there? Now, this is a kind of PSA, public service announcement. Nothing in this episode is a promotion, nor is it a recommendation, but I'm going to show you how I'm helping people who hardly ever use their YouTube account or their Google account, how I'm helping them keep it from getting deleted. Now, what do I mean? Now, I was just reading Slashdot.org, News for Nerds, and most of it's boring, especially the stuff about Apple. And I'm scrolling down, and it says Google to delete inactive accounts starting December. And it's Reuters. Alphabet's Google on Tuesday said it would delete accounts that had remained unused for 2 years. Starting in December, that would be 2023, in a bid to prevent security threats, including hacks. And to save disk space and not have to build so many data centers. The company said that if a Google account has not been used or signed into for at least 2 years, it might, now this is Reuters, might delete the account and content, your files, videos, photos, spreadsheets, across Google Workspace, which includes Gmail, Docs, Drive, Meet, Calendar, as well as YouTube and Google Photos. Policy change applies only to personal Google accounts and not those for organizations like schools or businesses. In 2020, Google said it would remove content stored in an inactive account but not delete the account itself. And I saw some effect of that. They really pared stuff down. And again, to cut down and having to, I think they were in a crunch, and it was a choice between doing that and even trying to keep track of it and building new data centers. But they've really gotten into, when you have zoning holdups, you get desperate. They went through back around 2020, they went through a real disk space, storage space crunch for a while. Oh, no, I don't have any inside information. I noticed changes in Google's and YouTube's response and activities. Oh, yeah, sometimes you can see the fingerprints. So, is this really official or are they making it up? Well, blog.google, March 16th. Today's the 16th. It's a 3-minute read, and this is a vice president, product management, whatever that means. Let's see if there's a picture. Let's see if we can figure out where she's from. My mind wanders. You notice they hardly have any old people at Google, Alphabet? I'm thinking the ones that founded the company and also helped lead it, they kind of got old and they're all gone. including the one that was in charge of YouTube. She's kind of getting old. She's gone. They haven't shown us the guy who was her go. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Oh, this is interesting. Cricelli, I think it would be pronounced that way. She's been with Google for a year and 2 months. Before that, she was more than 10 years at Facebook. Director of Global Programs, Partnerships, General Manager for Facebook Marketing Partnerships across Facebook, lead large global cross-function organizations. She's got experience in depth. Head of SMB Data Science. SMB. Monetization Analytics Manager. So she was at that a year and a half, another one for 2 years. Monetization, so she knows about money. I like the way these descriptions are. Managed team responsible for consumer insights, figuring out how to make money from you. Data analysis, I'll bet she's got a math background. I haven't read this before. I'll bet she's got a math background. And devising, communicating, and executing measurement/monetization analytics strategy and products in North America tech/telco vertical. The vertical market, everything from the bottom from the local telephone company all the way to the end user and everything in between, the advertisers, all the support people. And then for 9 months, monetization analytics lead. Wait a minute, where did she do this? At Facebook. How to make money. You know, this fits in to what I just said. What was the big crisis at a certain time at Facebook? They weren't making enough money to turn even a penny profit. Yeah, Zuckerberg, he started out in a dorm room and he was successful for a while, but then they noticed that they weren't bringing in enough money to actually pay for what they were doing. Go look it up. They're kind of in that situation. Oh, wait a minute. Now remember, my mind is wandering. They're kind of in that Facebook. That's not what they call it now, is it? Meta. Meta's kind of in that situation now, isn't it? With that virtual world that's losing I don't know how many billions every year. Billions. Apparently Zuckerberg still believes in it. Okay, so that's all the stuff but wait a minute now. She was a senior data scientist at LinkedIn. Now LinkedIn, I think that was a standalone company back then, and then it was bought by Microsoft. Now, wait a minute. Stanford University. I told you she has braids. I had a high school classmate who got his PhD at Stanford. He studies the physics of things like 1 degree above absolute zero. Does that sound exotic? It's kind of beyond me. Head teaching assistant. Taught graduate level MBA, PhD, recipient of Stanford Center for Teaching and Learning Prize. Research assistant, 2008, member of a research team designing and conducting a large-scale survey. She's a statistician. survey in rural areas of Mexico. I worked in Mexico a long time ago. If the rural areas haven't changed a lot, you can't. Well, back then you couldn't even call them on the telephone. Like the lab head that I worked for that hired me to get down there for a while, the house he bought in the village that had about 25,000 people had 10 telephones. This is 1991, 92. 10 telephones. The reason why he bought the house for himself and his family, that particular house, which he didn't particularly like because it was right on the main street, which was unpaved, is because it actually had a telephone line. He needed it for communication, business-wise, back to the States. Oh, here we go. Uh-oh, I should have known it. Hebrew University, research assistant, 2005-2007. Conducted research on patent laws and their effects on economic performance. Applied econometric models, regression. I've taken a course in regression and predictive models. Teaching assistant in the economics department of the Hebrew University. You know where the Hebrew University is, don't you? I started to say Tel Aviv. Oh, I would really get into trouble if I ever said that. It's in Jerusalem, on Mount Scopus. It was an enclave. Not now, not after 67. PhD, political science. And her focus was, see, I'm interested in people. What kind of preparation, what kind of talents do they have to do the job that... My dissertation used game theoretic modeling and statistical analysis, computer simulation, to examine when mass demonstrations are likely to be successful and lead to political revolutions. Now, the reason why she would do simulations like that is that she presumably was using real-world models in the past 100 years in all various kinds of countries to see if she could model the course of events over time. And the point of that would be to pick publicly available and scale, be able to translate into numeric values, like newspaper articles, keywords in headlines, economic data, migration data, and see if she could find a game model that could simulate, come close to what had really happened, because they and find the factors, factor analysis. Yeah, factor analysis. Factor analysis is a technique used to reduce a large number of variables to fewer numbers of factors. This technique extracts maximum common variance from all variables and puts them into a common score. As an index of all variables, we can use this score for further analysis. Wikipedia. Factor analysis is a statistical method used to describe variability among observed, you have to have real world numbers, correlated, but you may not be able to guess what the correlations are or which ones move together in certain combinations. Some dominant and some less dominant. Correlated variables in terms of potentially lower number of unobserved variables called factors. It synthesizes factors that are a combination of several other things to simplify thinking about what's going on. For example, it's possible that variations in 6 observed variables mainly reflect the variation in 2 unobserved underlying variables, hidden variables. Factor analysis searches for such joint variations in response to unobserved latent variables. The observed variables are modeled as linear combinations of the potential factors plus error terms, so you end up with an algebraic equation. Factor analysis. Hence, factor analysis can be thought of as a special case of errors in variable mode. So, when did I took those analysis of variance and regression analysis back in the early 1980s. I mean, what's the matter with me that I can actually wait a minute, I haven't finished with her. Are they gonna let did I close that? Oh no. Here it is. Hang on. Stick with me. I'm interested. I know. I wandered off. My mind is wandering, but so she got a PhD in political science, but it's all number crunching. She got a Bachelor of Arts in Economics, Political Science, and Philosophy, summa cum laude. First in a class of more than 600 students. You understand summa cum laude. That's Latin. Highest praise. Summa cum laude, definition, meaning, requirements. What's the difference between magna, which is big or great, and summa, which is the top? Summa cum laude is one of the 3 Latin honors traditionally. There's cum laude, magna cum laude, and summa. So if you can get on a scale of 4, if you can get your GPA, grade point average, when you graduate with your bachelor's degree, like 3.1, you can be cum laude. My Bachelor of Science was summa cum laude. I just barely hit the line, 0.01 over the line to be the difference between magna cum laude, and summa cum laude. But that was a long time ago. First in a class of 600. Now, I haven't read this before. Publications. Political Order and One-Party Rule. Annual Review of Political Science, June 2010. See the publication. No, I haven't read this before. Keep in mind what I predicted, what she was really interested in was, and the modeling stuff. Keep in mind what I predicted just 3 minutes ago. Next one, publication. Taking to the Streets, Theory and Evidence on Protest Under Authoritarianism. Why would a Jew be modeling Hitler's Germany? I'll bet that's what she modeled. And Stalin's takeover. And Franco's Spain. Betcha. Betcha. Ugh. Oh, here we go. Oh, I didn't see the next title, but it fits right in. Mass revolutions versus elite coups. The communist takeover in Tsarist Russia, that was an elite takeover. Germany was different. Quite a contrast. Languages. English, native or bilingual proficiency. Hebrew, native or bilingual proficiency. I guess I have to include the Israel stuff playlist. Never heard of her before. Never heard of her before. Okay, so she's the one that figured this out. That's why she's writing this. People want the products and services they use online to be safe. This is her writing. This isn't Reuters picking from this. This is her. People want the products and services they use online to be safe and secure, which is why we have invested in technology and tools to protect our users from security threats like spam, phishing scams, and account hijacking. They haven't been necessarily that successful about account hijacking. Have I ever had somebody try to hijack my account by saying, "Oh, we'd like to buy your account. We see it's not very active right now, and I thought I would just leave all the videos there, and then I would just start putting more videos." And then you read how they manipulate it on, and then you lose control of it, and then they delete it, and you can't get it back. I can think of more than one person that I'm still subscribed to that had that happen to them. You know what I did with those emails? I deleted them immediately. That's a protection. Even with these protections, if an account hasn't been used for an extended period of time, it is more likely to be compromised. Yeah, they get into your computer. And, there's a way that you can see all of the just published videos on YouTube. And those are the ones where the guys who are trying to do spamming through, and she mentioned the spamming, through putting those, come and see our sex act link here, and they go after those. I've noticed that has died down. So I'm going to give them credit that they found an effective way to handle that. But then they can also go through and figure out all of the channels that they are. There's ways of doing that. And then the people like her who do statistical analysis and surveying and have the computing power can then figure out which ones are active and which ones aren't. And they can try to play games with the ones that aren't. Even with these protections, if an account hasn't been used for an extended period of time, it is more likely to be compromised. This is because forgotten or unattended accounts often rely, here it goes, and this is often rely on old or reused passwords that may have been compromised, haven't had two-factor authentication set up, and receive fewer security checks by the user. Our internal analysis shows abandoned accounts are at least 10x less likely than an active account to have two-step verification set up. Do you have two-step set up? I do. That's no secret. Meaning, these accounts often are vulnerable, and once an account is compromised, it can be used for anything from identity theft to a vector for unwanted, even malicious content like spam. As a matter of fact, I have a thing in my browser that when I log in someplace, it protects me, but there's a master database service that goes to check to see if that account has been compromised somewhere out on the black web. Do you have that? Do you have that in your browser? This is serious business. And also, Google is making a push about they want to go beyond two-factor. And they tried something out on me last week. To reduce the risk, we're updating our inactivity policy for Google accounts to 2 years across our products. Starting later this year, if a Google account has not been used or signed into for at least 2 years, we may, which means not absolute, delete the account and its contents, including content within Google Workspace, Gmail, Docs, Drive, Meet, Calendar, YouTube, which is what we're talking about, and Google Photos. The policy only applies to personal Google accounts and will not affect accounts for organizations like schools or businesses. Matter of fact, I think that's kind of reverse thinking, but this update aligns our policy with industry standards around retention and also limits the amount of time Google retains your unused personal data space crunch. We're going to roll this out slowly and carefully. Yeah, they don't want the screw-ups to be too massive before they figure out how to do it correctly. How to keep your accounts. Now, this is where I, Steve AB4EL, had been preemptively helping you keep your accounts active. A couple of years back, when I began marking all of my videos must be 18 plus in order to view, meaning you had to log into your Google account, which you had certified to Google that you're over 18 years old. He swore at me, and he's never come back because he was in the UK. And I think the way things are handled with the new privacy stuff there, you have to jump through so many hoops, it's incredible. And they keep asking you to re-verify yourself and all that kind of stuff. And people would rather just be able to click on it whether they're logged in or not. But to watch mine, you have to actually be logged into your YouTube account. So, if you've been following any of my videos whatsoever, you're being protected under this new policy. What do you think of that? You gonna pat me on the back? I deserve it. I'm helping them. I preempted them. I preempted this genius that went to the Hebrew University. You think she was born in Israel? I'm going to see if I can find a YouTube video with her giving a lecture or something like that. I want to see if I can hear an accent. But I'm not going to play that. Oh. If you have, reading or sending. If you have signed into your Google account or any of our services recently, your account is considered active. So it doesn't mean, they're not saying you have to do it frequently. They're saying you have to do it at least once every 2 years. The simplest way to keep a Google account active is to sign in at least once every 2 years. It's right there. And I'm helping out by marking all of my videos 18 plus, restricted. If you've signed into your Google account or any of our services recently, your account is considered active and will not be deleted. Notice it's not may not be deleted. It absolutely will. The may applies to whether they'll target you. Activity might include these types of actions. You see, now they're talking down to the little children. When you sign in or while you're signed into reading or sending an email, using Google Drive, watching a YouTube video logged in, not watching a YouTube video, logged into your YouTube account. Using Google search logged in. Not usually, I use Google search all the time, not logged in. That doesn't count for anything. Ta-da! You see what this is why this is a PSA and mind wandering? Ta-da! I'm curious. Here's her name, Ruth Richeli. If it's Hebrew, it's Richeli. Let's see if there's any videos listed for her. Now, I don't know why are they showing me these? Facebook encrypts messenger calls in private move. Messenger Director of Product Management Ruth Richeli said in a blog post. 2021. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom reviews. And it mentions her at Google detailed the upcoming changes on Tuesday. Where, somehow this video has something on it, iPhone in Canada Digital Foundry, that is, how can it be 5 days ago? Oh, she must have pre-announced this, and then what's published today in the blog is just the final thought. And once again, Facebook Messenger gets into, but that was announced yesterday. Wasn't that oh no, that's 2020. No. Oh, what is the server? But her name is mentioned. Yeah, she was at Facebook. Oh, that's right. That's right. That's why they're talking about her. She was at Facebook then. That's right. She was a big shot at Facebook. Now she's at Google. A year and 2 months? Okay. Got it. It's hard to keep track. Okay. So that's the end of this PSA. My channel, if you watch any of my videos, the only way you can watch them, because they're restricted, is you have to log into your YouTube account. And it has to be an account that you've certified to Google that you are at least 18 years old. Steve A. Beforio. End of PSA. Mind wandering and brainstorming. And looking for the Israeli connection. Saying see you at 73.